given the place, wherever it happens is the right place. That's the new fifth one. Ooh, this is my favorite one. Get ready for a little bit of woo here. Whatever happens is the only thing that could have. Given the people who come together at this time in this place, it's a unique, special, never to be repeated event. You could not recreate this at all. And finally, when it's over, it's over. Now, I have Doc's corollary to that last one, which is, and if it's not over, it's not over. And that means when you finish a time, because you're going to have a time slot in which to talk, when this event is over, it doesn't mean you can't continue whatever conversation, whatever work you've started. So although we say when it's over, and yes, that's all the obvious things there, don't take that to mean, and it's cut off and we can't ever talk about it again. Quite the contrary. We've seen many wonderful things come out of open spaces that continue for weeks and months and years. So those are the 5 principles, and they're up on the wall now. Thank you for doing it. I think next year the shirts have to be yellow, right?
Or red.
As long as it's not red.
And there's one law, the law of mobility, and basically what it says is, if you find yourself in circumstances in which you are neither learning nor contributing as you would like, go somewhere else. Go to another conversation, or be a butterfly, because we have 2 patterns of behavior. Be a butterfly and go sit somewhere. Be pretty, relax. Maybe somebody else will come talk to you, that's cool. Or be a bumblebee. Go from session to session, take something of what you learned here, combine it with something you learned there, maybe offer a little something here and now take it there. Whatever suits you, because unlike formal planned sessions, these don't have a beginning and an end in the sense that you don't know where the conversation is going to go in each group. Everyone will be a discovery. Some of them will start off going this way and then they'll take a sharp right turn and they'll go up and they'll go down. You just never know. So feel free to go explore. And as a result, as you see on the wall, we say be prepared to be surprised. Because even those of you who have done open space before know that you don't know what's going to happen today. You don't know what's going to come out of it. You don't know what you're going to discover or contribute or the connections you'll make. And so be prepared for that. Now, so logistics. In the middle of the floor, there's a bunch of stickies and some markers. The way this works is when I tell you we're ready, and not before, please. Don't all come running out in the middle now. If you have something you want to talk about, that can be a discussion you want to have, a question you'd like to see answered, something you'd like to share, anything you want to get together with other people about, come up, write your name and your topic on one of the big stickies. Write your name and your topic. Someone almost inevitably needs their name off. The reason we need your name is when we put it up there, we need to know who you are because you are the convener. And as the convener, you have 2 responsibilities. 1, show up. It's your topic, you proposed it, it behooves you to be there. 2, produce what we refer to generally as proceedings. Now, what the organizers here have asked is that rather than printing out producing some kind of textual document, that before the end of the day, you make a 2 to 3 minute video, which you give to them, which they'll, Jason, how are you going to do that?
Just post it on whatever video service you use and tweet it out with the Agile Games hashtag.
There you go. So that anybody who's not here can get a sense of what happened in your session. You want to do more than 2 or 3 minutes, that's up to you. You want to do 30 seconds, that's up to you. There's no constraints on this. So, 2 responsibilities as convener.
And by all means, if you'd like, if you're comfortable having your whole thing recorded, feel free to do that as well.
Up to you. Yep. So, as convener, 2 responsibilities. Show up, make the video. Now, you don't have to do it yourself. I've always said if you're a clever convener, you may recruit someone else to do the recording, whether it's writing or video. Entirely up to you. We have lots of spaces. We're going to begin with spaces A through H. That's 8 of them. Come in. And we have 3 time slots, which are, is it 9:45 to 10:45, 11 to 12, lunch at 12 to 1, and then a session from 1 to 2. When you propose your session, you pick the when and the where. So go up there, grab one of the stickies that has a letter and a session number and a time, put that on your sticky and put it in the appropriate section, session 1, 2, or 3, so people would know where to find you. So let me go over that one more time to make sure everybody's got it. You go up, you pick up paper and a pen, oh, I'm sorry, I left out one important part. You announce your topic. You say your name and what your topic is. Then you go up, you pick up a sticky from whichever section, put it on your topic and put that on the wall so people will know where to find you. The spaces are all on those little floor plans, so you'll know where the spaces are. I think that's pretty much it. Did I forget anything, Deb? Okay.
Negotiation.
Negotiation. You mean like topics? I'm not for this one. Yeah. So however, if you have a topic and it seems very similar to someone else's topic, feel free to get together with them and say, should we put these together and have one discussion. We have enough room for 24 sessions, 24 discussions. That doesn't mean we have to do them all. So, up to you. Any questions? No? Good. Paper, pen, propose. Where's the microphone? It's not everybody will be able to be heard clearly. Oh, look, it's standing up.
It's turned off.
All right, I'm gonna bring a microphone when you're ready to announce your topic. Come get the mic from me. Carlos, you ready?
So I'm Laura Powers, and I'd like to play the business value estimation game. Chris Sims and I created that, and we teach it a bunch on the West Coast, and we'd love to bring it to the East Coast.
No, we haven't written anything yet. Do we have more pens, please? Mediums. Not until it's written. There's room. Is Jake here?
No.
Okay, he's not gonna make it.
I'm pretty sure there's two. It turns out.
I'd like to propose, how do we attract game designers, sociologists, psychologists, etc., other people from other communities to help us build games?
What's your name?
My name is Paul Boos.
Thank you so much. Laura, put one of the ones with the time session.
Don't steal the stage.
A group of us developed a new game the other day that we are calling Storming the Castle that uses storytelling to build collaboration and break down siloing. So if you would like to storm the castle, come join us.
I'm Deb, and I'd like to show you a game called Culture Cues. It's a game designed to help teams work across cultural boundaries, be those linguistic or generational or professional silos, to reduce assumptions and conflict so that they can be more effective.
Thanks, Deb.
Hi, I'm Jamie Gall, and a group of us developed a game on the first day of the conference, and we're looking for victims, participants to do an experiment with us and play the game and help us do an experiment related to the power of collaboration.
Any of you who worked with us on developing the game are certainly welcome to come as facilitators, and everybody's welcome to come play. It's called Lucky 13. It's a business collaboration game, as Jamie mentioned.
Or make your own luck.
That's part of the discussion.
Part of the discussion.
My name's Shannon Terry, and we also developed a game the first day of the conference around teaching leadership the effects of their interference. And so I think we've had a couple requests to re-demo that today, and so welcome to join.
Hi, my name is Ed Spiller. I'd like to get together and just trade ideas about different techniques people have for teaching, Agile, in particular Scrum. We have a class where I work, and I can share the techniques that we use, but I'm sure there are a lot of other techniques that other people have that may be really effective. So we can get together and share those.
Hello, my name is Simon. I'm an Agile coach. I have a session that's called 50 Shades of Play. This is about injecting some fun into your meetings and your training events. I do these all the time with customers. I also have a second session. Am I allowed 2 sessions?
Yes.
Okay. So this, hi, my name's still Simon. Propose a second session. This is called Agile Coach Giveaways. So I'm going to bring some experiential exercises that I do with teams, talking about their Scrum framework, the pain and pleasure of that. You're a product owner, and really the Agile, an Agile values exercise as well. So I'll share all 3 of those with you. And what I'm also hoping to get from this is other folks that come and give away your stuff too. So I want to steal from you guys. So I don't have all the answers, and there's lots of answers that are here in the room that I can take away.
Hello, most of you probably know me as Woody's wife. But I do art, I'm an artist illustrator, and I do a talk called Drawing Without Fear. So if anybody wants to do something a little different, you can come and join me, and we will draw, and I'll kind of demystify some of the art process. I've done this now at a couple different meetings, and I've been so excited with how much fun people have, because people are very scared of creating sometimes. So that's mine.
Do you want to share your actual name with his wife?
Oh, okay. Andrea Zool.
Decisions are tough. So, I want to do a talk I gave here last year, just a repeat of it, because there's a lot of people who weren't here last year, which is crazy, by the way, called How Games Teach. It's just a case study going through a lot of different games and undermining the mechanics of how they actually teach you what you need so you can play the game, which is actually fairly complex.
Is there more?
Yes.
Don't rush him.
Is your name still Llewellyn?
My name is still Llewellyn. Sorry, I'm making very tough decisions in the fly. I think what I want to do is, there's a game that Arlo Belshi and James Shore created that's fantastic. They should be here themselves presenting it.
I tried.
But I have extra copies that I use in my class, and it's a simulation. Much if you play actual board games, it's kind of like a Puerto Rico type game. It's remarkably complex, but brilliant, and well lays out the mechanics of doing an entire software project for about 2 years. And I have extra copies and pieces, and I will facilitate that game. Arlo's game.
Yes. They've not named it yet. They haven't named it, they haven't commercialized it, they haven't actually publicly shared it. They prototyped it in what, in Grapevine? In the Open Jam?
They presented it in Agile 2012.
Yeah, Grapevine, yeah. And then they played it a number of times just out in the Open
Since
Jam.
then.
Yeah. And they haven't done much since then, because they're like busy. Or so they say.
Are we allowed to ask questions? Because I'm having a moment of freedom.
There you go. Yes, you are allowed to ask questions.
So Llewellyn said that this audience might be interested in a session on voice acting, and I said, no, you're crazy, but I don't know you as well as you know you. Is this a need in this audience?
I'm going to interrupt you. Pamela, propose the session. Don't ask for validation in advance.
But I have 2 ideas and I only want to use one of them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And see which one gets more votes.
That's right, you just put them up there. The votes are by people showing up. So, be bold, be brave, take a chance. I mean, if Angela can do it with, you know, drawing, whatever she said, art, whatever that was, you can do it with voice. I have confidence in you. And then when you announce it boldly.
All right, I'm proposing open discussion, maybe a facilitated discussion on mob programming, which is mostly what I brought to this gathering. So there were people who had questions that didn't come to the demonstration we did, or even people who showed up who just want to further talk about it, and where it's not me doing all the talking. And I'm Woody Zool. If you don't know who I am, what it doesn't matter really.
Well, you're Angela's husband, right?
Yes.
Andrea, excuse me, Andrea's husband. Is there something that you've been hoping to get out of this week that you still want to explore? Are there things you learned during the last couple days that you want to dig into deeper? Do you have a burning question you always wanted to ask, and maybe there's some people who'll come answer it for you? This is your chance.
So I can't resist teaching you the chair game. But it really, we only need 15 minutes, so I propose we do it in the 15 minutes before the closing circle. That's not good, because then the closing circle is going to be disastrous.
Right after, the closing circle's right after the last session.
Okay, I will find some place to put this for 15 minutes. When? End of lunch, so 15 minutes before lunch ends.
12:45.
And is this space open for sessions? Here. Except, yeah. And it's really a blast. Can't tell you more.
It's great.
There's an endorsement.
April, no proposals. What's that? You're gonna work with Simon? Oh, I wonder what you're gonna propose.
Following the indecisive rule of doing all the things, I'm going to propose a session on voice play in which we will be reading very boring things in very exciting ways. So if you'd like to come learn how to play with your voice, come to that session. And the other one that I'm putting forward is something that a number of you have suggested, Fearless Journey in Astro. How do we work to transform a culture that is stalwartly digging its heels in and saying, we must be the way we were in Europe when Newton was in charge. So come help with a wicked problem.
And your name?
I'm Pamela Gay.
Ed, what's your question? Pamela Gay, Ed has a question for you.
That game for her problem.
Ed has a question for you.
On the voice play, voice acting, you expand up, is that just how to use your voice effectively? Or?
Why don't you go talk to him over there? Because the mystery of it is exciting.
We discovered that there were 2 phantom rooms, so Simon, you need to come pick a room for 50 Shades of Play, because...
Yes, that's part of your responsibility. So.
Oh, no, he picked one, but it didn't exist, so we think a real room.
Oh, we had a bug. Okay, there was letter pi. Okay. Anyone else that has something that they're just burning or spitzing or something to discuss? All right, let's see. Let me talk a little bit about a couple of other things since we have some time. So when you conduct your session, there are a couple ways you can do it. You can, in fact, just have kind of an open discussion, free for all, if you like. And you can have a moderated, facilitated discussion. You can do a presentation, as several of you have offered. And there's a technique called the fishbowl. And since we have time, it's always fun to do a fishbowl. Blue shirts, can I get some help cleaning up the stuff in the middle here, if you would?
Wow.
Med crew. I suggested red shirts, because they do all the work and then they're first to die, but they didn't like that.
Would you like 4 chairs also there?
I would love 4 chairs. Thank you, Jason. So in a fishbowl, you have either 4 or 5 chairs in the center, and everybody else sits around the outside. And of the 4 chairs or 5 chairs,
we'll do 4 though. One must remain empty at all times. And the only people who are allowed to speak are those in the center circle. And so if you want to participate in the conversation, you don't do it from out there, you take the empty chair. But as with all games, there are rules. Since there must be an empty chair, someone else has to leave. Now, there are various ways to decide who should leave. There's usually someone who says, it's okay, I'm done. But otherwise, the general rule is the person who's been there longest leaves. Okay? So you have something you want to say as part of the conversation, you come take the empty chair and somebody else leaves. Not unusual for that person to come back soon because they were bold enough to take a chair in the first place. So now we need a topic to demonstrate this. Anybody got a proposal for a nice little topic that we can discuss for a few minutes?
Scaling Agile.
Scaling Agile. Oh, that should be controversial. Nancy, take a seat, please.
Nancy, you've just
Let's see. Paul, how about you?
I knew you'd choose me.
Yeah, and let's pick somebody I don't know what their opinion is. Chris, how about you? Would you join the circle? That's good. That's perfect. Come on up to the circle. All right, so your topic is scaling Agile. Now, once again, as you're listening, when you hear something that you want to respond to or participate in, come take the empty chair, and one of them will get up, and it'll be your turn.
You got it.
Would you like the mic?
Well, I don't want to hear it.
Say it, that's good.
I spent all last night yelling.
Hi, is this one? Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'm stuck starting this now because I.
I'll start.
Oh, you'll start.
So the question I have is, what do you mean by scaled Agile?
Well, it just seems to be a hot topic at all these conferences lately. I've the past month I've had a lot of travels. I've been to the Scrum Gathering. I've been to XP 2013. And I'm at this one, and at the other two, there was an awful lot of discussion about what mechanism should companies use, especially very big companies, to expand Agile, for the enterprise, that whole thing. There's been some discussion of that for years, but it seems to have heated up lately. So that's why I brought it up. I just figured it would get people talking and make them want to jump in the chair. So some of the methods that have been talked about are something called LESS, which is promoted by Boz Vode and Craig Lerman. There's another thing called DAD, or Disciplined Agile Delivery, promoted by Scott Ambler. And there's something called SAFE, Scaled Agile Framework, promoted by Dean Leffingwell and Raleigh. And what others? Lean, there's always been lean Software Development, promoted by Tom and Mary Poppendick. Although they're not really trying to sell it as a framework, they're not trying to brand it, they're just giving, writing about tools for it.
So the first 3 you mentioned deal with trying to be able to enable large applications. It's essentially my understanding of what they are, like a program level stuff. And so I'm wondering what the assumptions that go underneath that, because I think that assumes that things have to be large when you take those 3 approaches. The lean one, I think, doesn't necessarily fit the other 3 that you described. Am I understanding?
I would like to add to his question that when you're saying scaling Agile, I don't actually know what you mean, because it could mean so many different things. That's one thing. Could mean different things.
Just as a side note, another one that pops in my mind is the Spotify model that Henrik Nieberg has been working on, but that's more about allowing teams to roll out more teams and allow them to have their autonomy still.
Yeah, that's a good example. I should have mentioned that one. And Rick, you said what again?
Could you define what you mean by scaling Agile? Because
Okay,
it can mean so many different things.
All right, well, most of the people that I've been hearing are talking about moving Agile beyond just the software teams. So what's the definition? In other words, they're trying to get away from this notion of Agile software teams or product teams being little islands in a sea of waterfall.
I have seen from my observations that the definition of scaled agile seems to mean we are this enterprise company and we want to be called agile, but we don't really want to do much. What do you got for me?
I've definitely seen it
Yeah,
used that way.
definitely a sales technique
and,
there.
And an awful lot, there's an awful power behind the motto of, yes, come in here and make us agile, but don't change anything. Yeah. And yes, there's a lot of power behind that.
Yeah, so I mean, that has so many underlying assumptions around, how you want the thing to be rolled out for the different levels, because we're really just talking now at different levels and not necessarily a rollout. So it's almost like I'd like to take this blueprint, throw it on there and solve all my problems.
When I hear that question, how do we scale agile, I often feel that there's some assumptions buried in it, and I just wanted to surface that. My gut says, first of all, why? And often it's phrased like, but we have to do agile with 1,000 people, and my knee-jerk reaction is, why? And somebody put it well to me recently that there's a tax to being big, and so I'm always thinking, well, so you have 1,000 developers, how many of those are overhead? How many of those are the tax on being big? You have 10,000 developers. Are you doing the work of 6,000 with 10,000 because there's a 40% tax on communicating among 10,000 developers? And so there's just an assumption that, the other assumption that underlies it is, we must make every one of our developers agile. It's not a very agile kind of thought, is it? And I note that Google does not have a policy of everybody doing agile. Google has a policy of letting everybody pick their process, and there are agile teams inside, so there are alternatives to that. Just some reflections.
Yeah, I didn't actually have anything